Hey, welcome to the Woodshed. I'm John. I wanted to just talk today to you about a therapeutic strategy that I like to use as a guitarist. And this will be the start of a series of various videos about therapeutic strategies for guitarists, or really for anybody who uses their fingers in a demanding sort of way that they need to have rehabilitation, restoration practices for that. And obviously, your technique should not really create pain or anything, but uh, inevitably, just like doing a lot of work on the keyboard, typing a lot, you're going to have sort of some hand stuff that goes on. So, like as guitarists, of course, it's good to make sure that everything's working as well as it can and that you aren't having any discomfort needlessly. So today I will be talking about Voodoo Floss. Voodoo Floss is a specific brand, but essentially it's just this isn't Voodoo Floss exactly, but it's just a silicone little band here, pretty much like a TheraBand, except those sort of are like that, where it loops all the way around. You do stuff like that or whatever. But uh, this is used for like wrapping and doing intermittent compression. And basically, when you're using this, you want to be careful. This is a small guy meant for your fingers, and the fingers are pretty resilient because there isn't much soft tissue there. It's much more just like, bones and tendons and stuff that are pretty resilient. But in the case of like using a big voodoo floss for like your forearm or your shoulder, your leg or something, you don't want to have a tourniquet effect and have it restrict blood flow for too long. What we're trying to do is basically Kelly Starrett, who I got a lot of this from, uh, of supple leopard fame, he basically has this tagline of bring the garbage out and bring the groceries in. And so the idea here is sort of reperfusion or bringing fresh blood in where it was otherwise impeded. And this helps to nourish the various organs and it helps to bring out waste products or lymph. And the only way to get the lymph out, really, like, I feel like this is, everybody has their like, oh, here's how the lymphatic system works. But the idea is you have to basically get some movement, and uh, this helps if you have any discomfort to reduce that before you do the movement. And it also helps to restore sliding surfaces. So, like, if you have any sort of part of your body, like, for instance, like here on my left hand, I have this cluster of scars over here from washing dishes at a previous job. And uh, because of that, it's kind of glued down and it doesn't have the same, like, it sort of has a pulling effect just from this skin not sliding the way that it should. And so, similarly, you might have that on like, like a elbow or something. And I'll do another video with a bigger floss to show like forearms or shoulder type stuff, but I'll just be doing fingers today. And so what you want to do is basically just get a nice sort of like stable wrap there at the tip and then work your way down. And I like to sort of give it a good tug. And people, when they do this, they say like, this much overlap and this much tension, but they talk about the tension as a percentage, like 50% tension, but it's like 50% tension, like compared to what, as tight as it goes. I like, it's a weird way to talk about it. Just you want to make it feel like it's definitely compressed, but you don't want to uh, have any sort of discomfort, and you should keep this on for not that long. Fingers, you can do it for a little bit longer. Feet, you can do it for a little bit longer just because of how much of a sort of like sturdy, uh, extremity they are. But uh, once you get wrapped up and all tight, you just do some stuff like this. You want to just restore that, and since it's all wrapped up, when you bend into these positions where there might be any restriction due to your skin tightness or anything like that, it sort of holds it in place and lets you pull at it and stretch it to restore some of the sliding surfaces. So I also like to do this type of thing because your tendons are wrapped in the sheath and you want to make sure that they slide comfortably and have enough sort of give so that you don't feel restricted and you don't have to compensate. And so I do this type of thing for like a minute or so, or until it starts to feel uncomfortable. Just make sure that there's no tingling. Otherwise, pull it off. Make sure that you don't wrap it in such a way that you're going to like you know, be ready to pull it off, and then you have to uh, like undo some sort of crazy knot. I just have it ready to go. So it's like, all right, so it feels a little bit weird now because it's just this finger and the rest of the fingers aren't flossed yet. And so it does sort of require you to go through all the fingers if you want to feel even. Um, but yeah, there's definitely a lot of extra mobility there, and you can tell based on these sort of little rings that it's gotten some compression, and this will help your finger to be ready to sort of accept new fresh blood and nourish itself. And so then you just go throughout the rest of the fingers, and you can wrap in various directions. People say to wrap so it sort of pushes it back to the heart. Um, I just sort of go in whichever direction feels like it's a little bit more sensitive, and I try to go through each finger. Sometimes I don't do it in an order. I go through in a way that feels like right to my body, if that makes sense. Like I just try to stay balanced because when you have this whole hand done and this hand not done at all, you kind of feel uneven. But so, keep on just like doing this type of thing. Get that sliding surface thing going. Ooh, this guy's a little bit out of place. All right, and after you've gotten the compression going for a little bit and you take it off, just make sure to get some mobility going, or like some mobilization. Run it through its sort of usual biomechanical paths. Ooh. All right, so that's Voodoo Floss. This is like, however many dollars, like $5 or something, and uh, it's pretty helpful. I found that the larger Voodoo Floss is actually probably more of a game changer. I've had a few physical issues that I've essentially taken care of with it, and so the small one is nice because it's great for the fingers, and like the big guy, you don't want to be wrapping around like that. So yeah, anyway, Voodoo Floss. Hopefully this helps.